Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kinds, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host Brett Murphy, and for today's video, I have a brand new top 10 for you all, as I am going to be counting down my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2025. I want to reiterate that these are my picks, the movies that I am looking forward to the most. It is not based on any polls or other media outlets who posted theirs, or like the Fandango or IMDb lists or anything like that. Before I hop into the actual video itself, I just wanted to let you all know that I have an entire playlist dedicated to all of my top 10 videos. We are closing in on 100 videos currently on that playlist for you to enjoy, so if top 10s are your thing, then be sure to check that out and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And if by some chance you don't, then feel free to suggest something you might like. As per usual, I do have a handful of honorable mentions to reveal first. These are the movies that couldn't quite crack the top 10, but I still definitely have my eye on. And of course, there are going to be plenty others that will release over the next year that I haven't even heard of yet, especially in the indie space. The first honorable mention is Captain America: Brave New World. This one just barely missed out on this list because I think the trailers actually have looked great. It seems very espionage thriller encoded, similar to The Winter Soldier, which I love. But all I've been hearing about it outside of the trailers has been pretty negative. Lots of rewrites, reshoots, and negative test screenings. I want it to be good. I love Sam, and I'm stoked that he's the new Cap, but I just don't know about this one. Next is Ballerina. Insert stupid subtitle here. This is another one that I really want to be hyped for, and again, like Captain America, the trailer looks great, but the behind-the-scenes stuff isn't promising. The movie was supposed to release last year, but saw significant delays so that most, if not all, of the action sequences could be reshot. Never a good sign, but I do love all 4 John Wick movies, so I'm hoping this can live up to those in some capacity at least. Saw 11 is yet another that's very much up in the air. In fact, last I heard from the rumor mill is that Twisted Pictures producers Mark Berg and Oren Cools have been clashing on the direction the franchise should go in, which could result in the movie being scrapped altogether. I hope that's not the case because Saw X was fantastic, and in the eyes of many, the best in the franchise. It would be great to see another, but it's also not completely necessary either. Another honorable mention is Wolfman. Look, Leigh Whannell doesn't really miss in my eyes, as a writer or a director, so pretty much anything with his name attached to it is going to pique my interest. If he can deliver like he did with The Invisible Man, then Wolfman is in very safe hands. Next is Elio. It's just nice to see Pixar doing something original again instead of more sequels. Yes, I know it wasn't too long ago that they did movies like Soul, Luca, Turning Red, and Elemental, but most of those went straight to streaming because of the pandemic, and since then we've gotten Lightyear and Inside Out 2 as well. Their future right now consists of Toy Story, Incredibles 3, and rumors of a Cars 4. And, of course, an Inside Out 2, which is likely going to lead to an Inside Out 3. Yes, they still have Hoppers coming too, but I'm so tired of sequels, even if some are pretty good. I just want Pixar to stick to delivering new and refreshing ideas instead of revisiting old ones. And so, without further ado, let's hop right into things. Number 10, Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is one I was a little more hesitant to include also, especially over some of my honorable mentions, but in all honesty, I'm excited for this. I remember when it was first announced, it was during the summer, when I was watching one of my sister's softball games, and I immediately thought, I actually really like this lineup of characters. This could be fun. Then scrolling through Twitter made me realize I was one of the few who thought that. Now that we have a couple of trailers and many prominent leakers slash scoopers online have been saying that test screenings are going exceedingly well, I feel justified in my hype. This looks like it could be a really good time. Could it suck? Yeah, absolutely. It's no secret that Marvel has been very hit or miss since Endgame. But dare I say, I feel like they might be turning a corner. They took almost all of 2024 off to regroup, and they're now slowing down their output. On the horizon, we've got this, Captain America 4, Daredevil Born Again, Ironheart, Fantastic Four, the next couple Avengers movies, and Spider-Man 4. So I'm hoping this one delivers because I still have a major soft spot for the MCU and all of these characters, and I just want to see them succeed again. Number 9 is going to be The Running Man. We don't have a whole lot on this one outside of the fact that it's a remake, or I guess reimagining, of the 1987 Arnold Schwarzenegger-led movie and Stephen King written novel of the same name. That plus the fact that it's written and directed by the always brilliant Edgar Wright and has a stacked cast that includes Glenn Powell, Josh Brolin, Katie O'Brien, Lee Pace, Isaac Gonzalez, William H. Macy, and Michael Cera, among others. The original adaptation is regarded as somewhat of a cult classic nowadays, but looking back on it, it is a prime candidate for a modern take. Not that I'm always the biggest fan of remakes, reboots, and so on. The original was fun but never fully did the concept justice, and I think that this one absolutely can. From where I'm standing right now, it looks like this new version has the potential to really deliver. And hunting down the number 8 spot is Predator Badlands. Not going to spend too much time on this one because, truth be told, we don't really know shit about this movie right now. But what we do know is that it's directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who directed Prey, arguably the best Predator movie, or at the very least, the best since the original in the eyes of many. Stars Elle Fanning, is set during the modern day, and in a franchise first, the Predator will be the protagonist of the film. Sounds like an absolute banger, and I have no doubt that Trachtenberg will deliver again. My number 7 pick is going to be Avatar Fire and Ash, or just Avatar 3. Look, I know what some people are thinking. The same people who said the same things when I was excited for The Way of Water, and then when I loved The Way of Water. The Avatar movies are mid, they're overrated, they have no cultural impact, they're knockoffs of better movies and shows, so on and so forth. But look, I love both Avatar movies we already have, and James Cameron is one of my all-time favorite filmmakers. If these movies took so long because Cameron was planning for all of these sequels, I do wholeheartedly believe the quality will be there to match the box office. My number 6 is going to be 28 Years Later. Speaking of long-awaited or long-delayed sequels, since it has been nearly 20 years, the creatives behind the 28 insert period of time here later movies decided to skip right over 28 months later and go to years. Now, as of the recording of this video, we officially got our first trailer and it looks bloody magnificent. Danny Boyle back directing and Alex Garland back writing, the exact same team that was behind the original, with a cast that consists of Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Jodie Comer, and Ralph Fiennes. Hell to the yes, man. Also, that's not a slight against the sequel 28 Weeks Later, because I love that movie, like, love it. Controversially, I think it's every bit as good as 28 Days Later, but that's a different topic for a different video. But yeah, this looks brilliant. Even if we didn't have a trailer, this likely still would have ended up on my list. It's also supposed to kick off a new trilogy that has almost all been filmed already, so my body is ready. Claiming that 5th place spot is Sinners, an original Ryan Coogler written and directed vampire period piece starring Michael B. Jordan as twins, that also has Haley Steinfeld. Say no more. And coming in that 4th spot, just barely missing the podium, is Mickey 17. I was originally excited for this one because of who's involved. Written and directed by Bong Joon-ho in his first flick since the Best Picture winning Parasite, and starring Robert Pattinson, Steven Yeun, Toni Collette, Naomi Ackie, and Mark Ruffalo. That is some serious talent. Then we actually got the first trailer and I immediately became certain that we are in for something truly special. Mickey 17 looks sick, twisted, darkly humorous, and wholly unique. Clear signs of a damn good movie. Though there have been some rumors of behind-the-scenes woes and a handful of delays, Bong Joon-ho himself has publicly confirmed that he has final cut, which is all I need to give me confidence. And snagging that bronze medal in 3rd place is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room first. Do we really think that this is the final reckoning? I sincerely doubt it. Word on the street, and by the street I mean Twitter, from some very prominent sources I should add, is that Paramount wants to advertise this as the final entry because of the poor box office performance of Dead Reckoning Part 1, which I guess is just Dead Reckoning now. Although the steelbook on my shelf would beg to differ. Anyway, Tom Cruise was reportedly very against this idea, telling Paramount that he wants to continue playing the role and making these movies until he physically can't anymore. Well, here we are talking about the final reckoning instead of Dead Reckoning Part 2, so I guess only time will tell as to whether this is the last entry or not. Nevertheless, we only have a teaser trailer right now, and that's enough for me. I don't need to see another trailer. I don't need all of the massive stunts spoiled. Most people would say Ghost Protocol, but I would say they have been on an immaculate run since Mission Impossible 3, which I adore. Though I was a little disappointed by Dead Reckoning Part 1. It's because it didn't feel like its own story in the same way that something like Dune Part 1 did, and it was obviously being compared to the one that came before it, Fallout, which I firmly believe is one of the greatest action movies ever made. Still, this little teaser was flawless, well-paced, gave us just enough, and really set the tone for this potentially final entry. And honing in on that number 2 spot is the Fantastic Four First Steps. This should be an obvious one. We've arguably never had a proper F4 movie. You know, Marvel's first family, they've never been done right, if you ask me. Like, sure, the 2005 one has its charm and a bit of a cult following, but it's just not a good movie. And then the most recent attempt, Fant4stic, was absolutely abysmal. Though at the time of recording they haven't released a whole lot officially, we've probably all seen the leaks from D23 and Comic-Con, and from what I've seen, I'm really digging this movie's vibe. Marvel could have easily made another generic cookie-cutter kind of movie, but instead they went way out in left field and opted to give us a futuristic retro 60s set movie with old school looking super suits and an actually accurate take on Galactus. The cast is a dream come true, and Matt Shakman, the man behind WandaVision, sitting in the director's chair, gives me hope that this can be something truly unique and original. Possibly, dare I say, even the breath of fresh air and reinvigoration that Marvel needs right now. And number 1, without a shred of doubt in my own mind, is Superman. Alright, I'm not getting too into the weeds with this one. Everyone's got their opinions on Gunn. Everyone's got their opinions on Snyder. Everyone's got their opinions on the DCU and recently deceased DCEU. I'm not here to discuss that. Here's what I know and how I feel. I love Gunn as a filmmaker, especially a comic book filmmaker. The 3 Guardians movies, The Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker are all top tier in my books. Gunn also has a clear passion and love for the source material, and it's very obvious that he's using that as his inspiration for the tone, aesthetic, and themes of Superman and the DCU overall, which he's now in charge of. The cast is stacked. Anyone who thinks otherwise is simply a hater. I'm not comparing Corn Sweat to Cavill, or Reeve, or anyone else. He looks like Superman. The dude is huge, he's jacked, and when they dress him up as Clark Kent, he looks that part too. Brosnahan looks spectacular as Lois, then you have Nicholas Hoult as Luthor, and then also the rest of the cast, including heroes who will be appearing and the regular folk that work at the Daily Planet too. They all look stunning and perfectly suited for those roles. I have full confidence in Gunn and the creative team behind this project, and others that I'm extremely excited for, like Lanterns, Batman the Brave and the Bold, and all the rest. I think this is exactly what DC needs right now. A reset, a mostly fresh start, and one clear, concise vision. It's what Marvel did when they released Iron Man, and the duo of Gunn and Safran have the opportunity to do the same thing with Superman. As a fan of DC, every version of it, the comics, the animated side of it, the Snyder movies, yes, I enjoy them a lot. The 80s and 90s movies, the games, the Dark Knight trilogy, I'm genuinely excited for Superman to kick things off, and I wholeheartedly hope to see them succeed, because at the end of the day, life goes on. And these movies are not meant to be taken that seriously, folks. They're just movies about fictional characters meant to entertain and inspire us. We're supposed to have fun watching them. We're supposed to forget about the real world and just enjoy ourselves for 2 hours. If you two watching this are a true DC fan, then you'd just be happy to have any DC content, regardless of who is making it, regardless of how they interpret it, and regardless of the medium it's in. And that, ladies and gentlemen, and movie lovers of all kind, is why Superman is my most anticipated movie of 2025. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments below what you thought of my 10 most anticipated movies of 2025 and what your 10 or more picks would be. As a reminder, this is the revamped BAM2 Movies, and it is your one-stop for everything movies. Be it ranking videos like this one, video essays, top 10s versus videos, tier list videos, I have it all and so much more, along with your daily nerdy news wrap-ups. A series of shorts where I keep you up to date on everything movies, gaming, and TV related. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that little bell icon so you don't miss a thing. As always, folks, I thank you all so very much for watching. Stay happy, healthy, and safe out there. From myself and the rest of the BAMTube team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time, and that's a wrap.